Welcome to Nick Saban Jr. Sports Talk TV. And we back with another video today, baby. So today gonna be very interesting. I like this thing. I got my man Josh Sutton. These are my boots on the ground at the campus of Tuscaloosa right now, sports media major. So this is what they do. But today we will be ranking Alabama football players from top to bottom based on the importance and impact that we think they will have. So this thing really varies. This is everybody, basically their decision, their choice. And of course, a lot of things can change, but this is how we see things, the importance of each player from top to bottom. And we will be starting from the bottom. So y'all might want to stick around to see who in our top 20. What's going on with y'all?
Nothing much. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Ready to do this.
Glad to be back on the show. Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. I love when y'all on, man. I love when y'all on. Y'all passionate about this and makes it more fun. Everybody in the chat, how y'all doing? Roll Tide, Tom Reed, go Dogs. I hear you, bro. What's up, Tom Reed? Linda P, Roll Tide, rise up. Justin, William Bryant. I think I seen some more in here earlier, but everybody, if I didn't get to you, what's going on? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. So explain to them what we're gonna do again, just to brief them up again.
You got it. Yeah. So shout out to Jimmy Stein from Bama Online. He did this series on the or on the Bama Roundtable message board. So if you want to see some of the best intel you ever see, go over there and check out his list. He's got a pretty good one. I think I got a different one, and it's changed a lot. Based off what we're hearing so far out of spring, what Saban said. So shout out to Jimmy Stein. Go check him out on On3, Bama Online, all that. The whole staff's great at that. But we're going to do our list just from 87 to 1, all the scholarship players and some of the special team members too. So
my list has changed. This is probably the third draft of my list. It's changed so much in the past week and in the weeks prior. So who knows? All of our lists will probably change again before the start of the season if I had to take a guess. So this is just a temporary list.
Yeah, exactly. Because right before we got on, I had one of my guys. He called me. He tunes into Alabama football stuff a lot. He heavy up on it as well. And he said something about Coach Saban said something about somebody's gonna be starting at the offensive line position. He said he's gonna be a starter. I don't know how. I didn't watch it. I'm just going off
Ferg.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that's someone that shot up my list. We'll get
yes, sir.
He's a little down the line.
Before we get started, just let everybody know, Darius Montgomery has flipped his commitment from Florida State. He coming to the Alabama Crimson Tide, Finney City guy. I was happy for that guy because, like I say, he
Central High School, baby.
Yes, sir. He stay 2 minutes away from I live 2 minutes away from the stadium. No traffic. It's like 2-3 minutes. So I've been seeing this kid play, and this dude, he's a 3-star. But if you don't know anything about football, you would have shown up to the game, you'll be like, "Who's that kid? What school he going to? Oh, he's just a 3-star." He looks like that on the field on Friday night, live action. And me and Joshua was texting earlier. Expect this guy first year to be a gunner on that special team. Expect it.
Dude, he runs downhill fast and
he
tackles hard.
Yes. In the box type safety. I got a video uploaded right now, so everybody y'all pay attention to it. Like I said, this wasn't even me watching highlights off of his videos. It was with me speaking from firsthand experience about this guy. So yeah,
the Central High School curse is over. We got him and Faga. I mean, I don't expect a Cam Coleman flip, but I'd say it's a pretty good year. The coaching staff go, into another school in Alabama's territory and steal two of the best players in the state of Alabama.
Especially when their coach is the former Auburn quarterback. So,
and he popped last year again in the IMG game. That was a nationwide game.
Yeah.
So he popped in that game. I think that he kind of probably raised his raised his rating as a recruit. So that game, that exposure definitely.
He's getting that Bama bump too. No time.
Exactly, definitely. But he really like that. Like, if you put him in the box at safety, man, listen, he gonna make something happen.
Yes, sir.
So, man, let's get this thing started. And what we got? We got 87, right?
Did you put share screen? I put the thing up. You want to put it on the screen?
Oh, my bad. I didn't. Yeah, I see it. So we about to get this thing going, guys. And here we go. So
You up first, Nick.
With my 87th pick, I went kicker, Connor Talty, whatever.
Connor Talty.
Talty, yeah.
Anything you want to say about him, or?
I just don't see, unless somebody get hurt at kicker, I don't really see much of an impact for him. He's somebody that we expecting to, come in when Will Rogers going and do the job. Because he has a foot, but I just don't see much of an impact from him this season.
I had Talty a little bit higher on my list just because of the possibility of an injury to Reichard. We saw that his freshman year he got injured. Hopefully that doesn't happen because Reichard's our guy. But for number 87, I went quarterback Eli Holstein, most likely the fifth-string quarterback for the Tide this year. I don't see him stepping on the field, especially with the three guys we have at the top, and then Lonergan probably is going to edge him out for that fourth spot. So I don't see Holstein stepping on the field this year, and sadly for him, I don't really see him having really any impact at all besides helping out that quarterback room in practice on in the middle of the week. So Holstein's number 87 for me.
Okay.
Hey, we got three different guys. I don't have any. I mean, I got Holstein a little higher up, but I'm gonna start off at a position where there's really a log jam, and that's offensive line. So I'm going Rock McElderry. I think he's got a real bright future. Was a Georgia commit, so before he flipped to Alabama. So both schools view him highly, but I think we're just so deep at those positions. I think it may be a year or two or three possibly before he gets a chance. So Rock McElderry is at 87 for me. And at 86, I got another lineman. It's just based off recent events. At the open practice the other day, he was in a black shirt and he wasn't practicing at all. I'm going Miles McVay. Who probably had a chance to be a 2, if he worked it up, but he didn't look good from what I saw. So I mean,
yeah, because Miles is up more on the list, and I still put him there, and I was aware of the injury, the brace on his knee. I was aware of that.
Sutton.
Yeah, so for 86, I've got freshman tight end Ty Lockwood entering a really deep tight end room this year. A lot of the tight ends are going to get used. I just feel like this is going to be more of a year where he kind of sits back and learns from guys like CJ Dupree, someone who's been there and done that in the Big Ten coming over to the SEC. So 86, I've got Ty Lockwood.
Nick.
So my 86 pick, I actually got Edric Hill. I feel like he's gonna be a dude whenever we get the opportunity, but I just, and I might miss something on him for this season, but the reason I got these guys so low because I don't really see them really pushing much this year. You know what I'm saying? Due to the depth that they have in front of them.
Hey man, on his birthday, you're gonna give him 86? It's his birthday today.
Hey, if this was school, he'd have a B.
Happy birthday, Edric.
Nah. Who's your 85 now?
My 85?
Yes.
I want another D lineman, Hunter Osborne.
Okay.
And I did the same thing. Number 85 for me is also Osborne.
Okay.
He came in pretty light, so we knew it was going to take a while for him really to.
He's a development piece. Sure, he's a development piece. But I think he has all the tools to be a great player. I mean, obviously, he's at the University of Alabama. He's gonna have the tools. Just got to put it together.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna go a guy that was just mentioned too. I have a tendency to push him off based off what I saw last Saturday. He has pretty safe hands, and that's Ty Lockwood. I think he definitely has a future at Alabama. Like what I saw from him last Saturday at the open practice. So, in Bryant-Denny Stadium, he looked real safe on those sidelines, catching, tight throws from the quarterback. So I got Ty Lockwood at my 85. And with my 84, I got Eli Holstein. Barring a wild circumstance, that's why I got him here. But, any of these guys could be anywhere. I expect most of these guys, if not all, to redshirt.
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, at 84, I've got defensive lineman Jordan Reno. Again, that D line is just so stacked. It's gonna be hard for those true freshmen to make it. Besides, to me, James Smith is really the true freshman that makes an impact there. All the rest of them, I think, are more developmental pieces that are going to learn from the older guys ahead of them. So Jordan Reno.
And you got me for my 84th pick, right?
Yes, sir.
Same pick, Jordan Renard, because I see him having everything, like you said, basically I'm mirroring everything you said right here. It's just one of those things that, the depth in front of you, man.
Hey, you're right. I mean, defensive line's got like 15 guys on scholarship. 14, I think, now with Burrows out. So, I mean, it is a logjam room. And with your 83rd, Nick, who do you got?
I got Tyler. This is why I have Tyler Lockwood. One of the tight ends that I feel like we're using probably 4 tight ends, and we all know those Marvin E. Black, Danny Lewis Jr., Robbie Oots, and CJ Dupree. So therefore, we haven't even heard of Miles Katzman on the offseason. So no. I know Tyler Lockwood is a red shirt guy, but I like his skill set though. I think he will have what it takes. Probably need to beef up a little bit more, but he'll have what it takes, but not right now.
Hey, this is coming. This is one of the best classes of all time. So 2 to 3 years, I feel like a lot of these names are going to be a lot higher. So
yeah,
no need to rush them being so high, and it's a stack roster. So
people get carried away with the freshmen that make a huge impact, and they forget about the guys that take a little bit of time to develop. But we've had some great players that come through Alabama that have taken some time to develop. So don't be too worried about these guys at the bottom of the list because they've got the tools.
You got 83 something.
For 83, I'm going to go Rock McElderly, just like you did earlier, kind of just echoing the sentiment you did. Don't really see him making too much of an impact this year, but another guy that'll definitely factor in future offensive line competitions.
All right, I like that. I'm going to go a guy, whose certainty with the team, was questionable at the start of the year. But, I mean, could work his way into special teams, Tony Mitchell. See if I can get that better. Oh, there it is. And for my 82nd, this guy's been mentioned. I like his upside. Hunter Osborne just needs to put on some weight. And a very experienced defensive line group ahead of him. So high upside though. Alabama guy. Save Alabama. Hewitt Trustful.
Yeah, and I've got wide receiver Jaron Hamilton. Sorry. Wide receiver Jaron Hamilton. Haven't heard too much about him over spring practice. I think it's just another one of those things where he's just a young guy who's more of a developmental piece. So he's just going to kind of sit back and learn from the guys ahead of him this year. And hopefully we've got some good leaders in that group this year, more experienced group.
Okay. Yep. So my next pick, he actually could have been up a little bit higher, but I have Isaiah Haston. I like the dude a lot, but I just still feel like with the depth, and I feel like the young true freshman defense line, who is it, Smith? I think he has a chance to see more playing time than Hastings this year.
Hastings got some reps last year. Hey, I think you're anti-defensive lineman, Nick.
Hey, what position I tell y'all I like to play?
O-line, baby.
That's right. So that could have some truth.
Oh, you're 81?
81, my bad. That's why Cole Adams. All like right. The kid. I think when he get his time, he's gonna have for sure hands. He might be able to get some special team look. I don't know, but I really don't see him on the field this year. I see him as a true red shirt guy.
He was return punts. I mean, that's gonna be Kool-Aid's job, but that punt position's been kind of cursed for us as far as before injuries and
Yeah.
Kool-Aid's got that position on walks. He looked amazing this past weekend. Cole, they were punting away from Cole. I think he was facing with second or third string punter. I didn't see who it was, but I see why he put Cole there. Sutton.
Yeah, so I'm going D-line here again. For me, it's Edric Hill. Nick Saban Jr. already hinted on him earlier in in the video. So I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah.
Hey, great minds think alike. I also got Edric Hill at my 81. Here's where I go kicker. It's Connor Talty. We could use him in some instances. I think he will get reps this year in some games. Like if we're up a bunch, they may let him kick just to get him some reps and get him prepared when he ultimately takes the job next year from Mo Lockard.
And for me at 80, here's another guy that you hit on earlier, Josh, Miles McVay. You talked about him being in the black non-contact at spring. Really had high hopes for him this year, but especially as a freshman getting an injury in fall camp, that really sets you back developmentally. And when you're really trying to learn how to block runs, how to protect the passer, the different schemes that we're going to be using on offense. It's a developmental position for sure. As a freshman, it's a lot of moving pieces and moving parts. And for him to go down with an injury kind of at one of the most pivotal times of the year to develop, especially a year he's probably not going to get much playing time anyway. It's probably a huge hit for him, sadly, and very unfortunate. But he'll bounce back, I'm sure of it, and I'll have him at number 80.
His weight transformation was insane. I mean,
yeah.
You see pictures of him in high school. Dude, shout out to the nutrition staff at Alabama. What they've done Otis and McVay the last 2 years has really been impressive.
And you said shout out to the nutrition staff. And that's what I want to tell people just real quick. I ain't going to be too long on it. But these are important pieces to a program. It's not just the coaching staff. And people don't realize when coaches leave, we don't know about it as much because we don't pay attention that deep. But when a coach leaves, he could possibly take somebody from the nutrition staff and go along with him. That's how deep. When a coach leaves, it hurts. But that's how good Nick Saban showed you that it can be. Because when somebody gets out away from Coach Saban, they take people with them. They take people. It might not go that deep, but they take people with them. But it can actually go there.
Another thing that gets looked over too is Jeff Allen. The head strength guy. He's been with Saban every year since he's been here, and I think him not leaving has also been another key part to our success, and I'm sure that's always overlooked. I've met Jeff before; he's a great guy, and definitely a pivotal piece to the football room over there.
Nick, who's your 80? Oh yeah, so shout out to Amy Bragg. Amy Bragg does a great job, and Saban talked about Jeff Allen.
Hold on.
Been really here since the start.
Hold on.
Nick, you looking through your list, or who's that? Bugging?
Yeah, man, my laptop was tripping again. Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, sir. Who you got at 80?
Okay, I got an 80. That's why I got Eli Holstein. I don't see much from him at all. He's going to be the last QB, but I put him up some because I just feel like regardless of what string you are as a QB, you bring some importance to the team. So I got him at 80 for that.
Could be a holder.
Hey, thanks.
At 79, who you got?
79, this is why I got Raquez McElder. This is one of them things depth in front of this kid right now. I just don't see it.
Yep.
Yeah. At 79, I've got Tony Mitchell. Kind of had a rough go with the law there during spring practice. So I think he's going to take kind of just be more of a developmental. I heard Saban was really getting on him the other day at practice. I like to
get on to everyone.
He always getting after everyone.
That means he likes you. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and Tony in particular. So it's good that he's learning and he's with the team, and hopefully everything will be straightened out and he'll be ready to go, because he'll probably have a much bigger role on the team next year. So I've got Tony over there.
All right here I got a guy that's previously been mentioned by Sutton. That's where I'm going, Darren Hamilton. Crowded wide receiver room, just really, really stacked room. It's going to be tough. And at my 78, just because of how the position, has looked in practice and who they're using, I got James Brockermeyer here because it looks like if they're going to a third center, it's going to be Terrence Ferguson in a situation. And Dalcourt is the second guy after Seth. So here's where I got James Brockermeyer at 78.
At 78, I'm going to go Dylan Lonergan. Really loved what I've seen from him so far. Again, I think he's going to get kind of lost down the list just because Saban's mentioned him and Holstein are kind of more in the development phase than the other three quarterbacks. And we typically don't use more than three quarterbacks in a season anyway. And the third quarterback that we've used usually just hands the ball off. So I doubt that we'd see Lonergan on the field unless it was, hopefully we'll never have to because it would probably be in an injury situation. But really loved what I've seen from his development so far. And I think he'll end up being a great quarterback and possibly even a guy in the future at Alabama. So really looking forward to seeing what he does in the future years.
Okay. I just want to respond to the comment real quick. Hey, what I think about Kendrick Blackshaw, actually for the season, I like the kid, but I think honestly it's going to be now or never for him. I feel like if it don't pop for this year, I see him looking elsewhere, but it's just my opinion. Hopefully it pop out for him because we've been expecting him for a long time, but that's my thoughts on Kendrick Blackshaw.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to play much defense this year. I don't think he's too buried, but he's a valuable asset on special teams. Me and Josh
can run
about how much of an asset he is as a gunner and on kickoffs and things like that. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like having that Reuben Foster mentality when he was a younger guy at Alabama. So I hate that it didn't work out for him on defense, but if he ends up transferring, I'm sure all three of us will be some of his biggest supporters wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So unless it's Auburn, of course, then we won't be. But yeah. I doubt he would do something like that. So we'll see.
All right, 78, Nick.
I got Jerry Hamilton.
All right.
Because I think he got what it takes, but that's for the future, not now. Depth killing. And at 77, I have Jordan Renard. Like the dude, but just
you already mentioned him.
I did.
Yeah,
that was your 84. He was your 84.
See, I knew, and I went back over this daggone thing.
It's hard to keep up with it for real.
Let's see if there's. Can you see? Are you looking at the screen? Can you see all the names? See if any of ours that you haven't mentioned or.
Do
your 76 then. Who's your 76?
I'm going my 76. My 76 is Bryson Hubbard. I like the dude. I see him playing special teams, but that's just as far as I see it going.
Hey, yeah. I'll run some names down and just see if you even have them on your list, Nick. Do you have Lonergan on your list? Did you forget Lonergan?
No, Lonergan on there. I have him a little more important.
All right, I'm just going to say yes or no. You got Tony on your list?
Yes.
McVay?
Yes.
Edric? Yeah, you had Edric.
Yeah.
You just said Jaron. You said Rock, Jordan, Osborne.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure out who your odd man is.
Yeah, for me,
you can go adjust it if you want to.
For me, it's 77. I've got Talty. Both of you all have already talked about him, so got Talty there.
Yeah, right above Brockermeyer for me is Jordan Renaud. Really like him. Just had to put on some weight. Really explosive guy. Think he's really one for the future. And above him, another defensive line here. I'm adding some guys. Anquan Barnes. He looked impressive from what I saw from him Saturday. Really looks like he's, found the weight he wants to play at. I think he could get some reps this year if he fights for it. But here's what I got: Anquan Barnes.
Yeah, and here's we were talking before the show about the outside linebacker room and the depth we have there. So I think as a product, I think this guy was
my bad. I had to stop. I think it was Anquan Barnes. I forgot.
Got you.
You want to put him below? Where do you want to put him?
I put him where I missed my spot at.
All right.
That's who it was.
Who, Joe Sutton?
I was talking about how we were talking about the outside linebackers before the show started and how deep that room was this year. I definitely think this guy will pop later in his career, but I have Jan St. Pierre at 76. So.
All right. Nick, who do you have at your 75?
75. This is why I bring in Curtis Perry. Like the dude, I just don't know if it's yet. I don't know if it's time yet.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
for me, it's Cole Adams. Ton of speed, ton of potential. Just with Emmanuel Henderson coming into form to really back up Kobe and Isaiah Bond this year, I feel like Cole's going to be kind of deeper down the chart than he wanted to be. But definitely got tons of potential and really looking forward to his career.
Yeah, here is where I got Bryson Hubbard. Really like what he's got in store. I really was surprised by his 8A performance for just, learning to play safety last year. Being recruited there out of camp and really, evolve. And I thought he was really good there. I think we're kind of loaded at safety with a lot of experience. I think he could really take something from this year. Maybe special teams. I don't know. But here's where I got Bryson Hubbard at 75. At 74, here's where I got Curtis Perry. Weight's the biggest thing for Curtis, I think. I think he's at 260 something or maybe 270. I mean, there's been photos. There's been photos where it looked like fellow Montgomery native, that area native. Quay Russo kind of looked bigger than him, so we'll just see how Perry does with putting on weight and adjusting to the size of the position.
Yeah, 74. I've got the Viking himself, Olaus. So look really promising guy too, big guy. Looking forward to seeing what he brings. But again, we just got this O-line that's just so stacked with talent. Saban said in his press conference today that we have potentially 5 to 7 starters on the O-line, or guys that he sees as starters. He said that last year too. So yeah, and that speaks for itself. Just the talent we've got in this room, and Olaus is definitely that, but not his time just yet.
Nick, who's your 74?
My 74th is Yazi Pierre, the guy that you follow. Former 5-star, but the inside linebacker room is packed with 4 or 5 stars. I think he need to beef up a little bit more, and I think he'll have it in the future. But with the position he plays so stacked in front of him, not this year.
You're 73?
73 is Wilcom Formby. Tuscaloosa guy. Like him, but it's just not right now.
And I'm the exact same. You can go ahead and copy and paste that for my 73. I felt the exact same way. Tuscaloosa guy, he's gonna be a good tackle for us one day, but not quite, not yet.
My God, we all have him. I have Wilcom Formby at 73. That's crazy.
Heck no.
72, golly, we all have him in kind of the same range, I think. Jan St. Pierre. I really like him. I've heard his burst is unreal at practice. Relative of Courtney Upshaw, we know what that comes with,
Yes.
The Alabama breed, the Alabama physicality. Really liked his evolution last year. Almost unranked when we committed him, or he was really low ranked, and he really shot up, earned a spot in the All-American game and really showed his, how good he was. So really high on Jan St. Pierre.
I'm gonna tell you something about Yazi Pierre real quick. I seen him play the Jamboree game last year. He played my high school, Russell County High School, and I seen him at Jamboree game. It was just a Jamboree game, so he wasn't really getting off like that. But one thing about Yazi Pierre, when he was on the field with them, you could tell who the Alabama commit was versus everybody else.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, and for 72, I've got Jalil Hurley.
Wow.
I think he's my last DB in the group on my depth chart. Another freshman guy. He's got to learn how to play with all the big boys at Alabama. Not saying that he's not one. It's just kind of behind in the depth chart. We get even bringing in that transfer with bringing in Trey Amos and Jalen Key, pushed him back a little. So he's down.
Yes. So yeah, I got
Nick, who's your 72?
this is where some may disagree, but I have Richard Young.
All right.
I really think he gets a couple carries this year. But we all know what the running back room look like. Jace, Roydell, Justice, Jam. I think it's just gonna be basically stick his feet in the pool this year, and we'll see much more his sophomore season, I expect. But Richard Young, my 72, and this is why I got 71. This is why I got Jaleel Hurley at 71. Due to the fact we brought in Amos and Key. I got Tony Mitchell actually in front of him, but that's for 70. But I just think
Different
right
positions. Different positions. Tony's
Yeah.
playing star and safety. So
now, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
at 71, I've got Brayson Hubbard, and I like how Nick Saban Jr. touched on this earlier. I put him higher up on my list, I think, just because I think he will have a contribution this year at special teams. Coach Saban's talked about how valuable non-starters can be for special teams, and I think Brayson showed a really good tackling technique, especially in the 8A game. Thought he ran around really well, wrapped up guys pretty well. So I expect to see him on special teams this year, and I have him higher up just because of that. So.
all right, to wrap up my, to get up to number 70, right above Yonze, got a fellow outside linebacker from the state of Alabama. One of my favorite films I've ever watched out of high school. It's Clay Rusaw. I really think he could be a dog on special teams, but edge with that freshman group's crazy. Two more natural eds in Yonze and Keon Keeley. I think his eventual home may be at middle linebacker, so that's where I got Quay at 78. Cole Adams.
Yeah,
who I really like.
For me, at
really
70,
like special teams.
I went another receiver. I went Jalen Hale, freshman Jalen Hale. Heard he's kind of not technically struggled, but just not as far in his progression as some other receivers. So that's why I've got him at number 70. Definitely a very promising player for the future, though. Probably a starter in a year or two. So,
my 70 pick, that's why I got Tony Mitchell. I know about Saban getting on to him a lot, but I believe that probably is a little bit extra on his behalf because seeing how mental tough he is after getting in the doghouse, and Saban is probably putting him through a lot, and he's actually going through a learning process. But I feel like young talent, he will click faster than most probably expect. And I think not gonna play, but I think we can see him at some point get game time reps and mop up duty,
right.
of course.
And who you got at 69?
Jaden Roberts.
All right.
I ain't really got much to say about him. Just he got what
copy
it takes. I
and paste it
remember.
for me too. Copy and paste it for me too. I feel the same way you do. Copy and paste it. I got him at 69 as well.
Wow.
So right above Cole Adams, I have the Viking O.S. Allen. Really think he has a chance at guard. I think he may, out of the freshmen, other than Cade Proctor, I think he might be one of the higher ones up so far. Really like how OLAS has looked from what I've seen from him. And right above OLAS, probably the most important, not the most important, most impressed I've been with the quarterback all, spring, summer, and now fall. Dylan Lonergan. He looked unreal this past weekend. I think an emergency case is where we may see him. And I think if we have to, he's as good as you get as a fourth stringer in the country. So that's why I got Dylan Lonergan at my number 68.
Yeah, I've got Ian Jackson at number 68 for me. That middle linebacker group, again, like most groups at Alabama, just so deep. I think he's probably the last guy in that mix. And, we don't really rotate a ton of people at that position. 3, 4 max. So I just see him having more of a role in a backup role in this season.
All right. Nick, who you got at 68?
68, I have Jalen Hale.
Well, I have him higher than you do, and he's your boy.
Yeah, he is, but I think Emmanuel Henderson is going to be emerge at some point before him. And I even picked him early in the season to be like a dark horse, but I hear he does need work or whatever, but just not right now.
Who you got at 67?
67, I have Dylan Larnigan. I have him up a little bit higher because I hear this dude been crispy as I don't know what. Like Josh said, this is probably the best choice you can have as a fourth-string quarterback. And I think he has it. Just, we know what we got going on with our quarterback position in a way. But if it's such a competition, if I tell you what, all three quarterbacks better come out on their P's and Q's. I'm going to say that. They better come out on their P's and Q's and keep competing and getting better, because if not, Dylan Larnigan is going to push from 4 to possibly 2 or 1.
Yes, sir. Sutton, you're
67. I've got another linebacker, this time an edge, Quay Rousseau. You know, we talked about him earlier. And forgot to mention with Ian Jackson, but same thing with Quay. I think both of them will really be featured on special teams this year. So I think they'll both be key important pieces on the special teams unit this year. So look for them in that place as well. And a lot of these guys that are here on the list right now that are defensive guys will be key guys on special teams. So
Yes.
always keep that in mind. They're going to figure out a way to make contributions to the team. Everybody has a contribution to make, and sometimes it may not be as a starter. But these special teams guys can be just as important, because if you win the special teams game, then you have a 99% of the time, whoever wins on special teams is going to win the game. So,
Hey,
right.
True.
Yeah. Here's where I got Mr. O candidate himself, Isaiah Hastings. I'm really high on him. Really think he's grown, since not playing much football growing up. Got some reps last year, I think, in the Iron Bowl. So really like Hastings. Really think he can take a step forward with like the 3s or 4s or whatever, depending on the game. I really think he can make an impact when he gets his reps. And right above him, I got another safety. Here's where I got Jake Pope.
Me too. At 66, I also have Jake Pope. Another guy I think will also place a little bit on special teams, and very excited for this guy. I mean, hard hitter. We saw that on A-Day. I think he'll factor into that safety conversation pretty soon. So, Jake Pope here at 66 for me. Oh, did we lose Josh? May have lost Josh.
His picture's still there, so okay.
Rabid dog. I got Jake Pope in there. Nick, who you got at 66?
I got Miles Kesselman. We talked about this out in the room, basically. He just too buried. Ty Simpson, not Ty Simpson, but Ty Lockwood I have before him, but Miles Kesselman is next, because I don't even hear nobody talking about this guy.
Okay. Fair play. 65.
65, I have Desmond Ricks. Somebody I really like. Somebody who were classified and came early to this class. Somebody who I think gonna be one of the possibly parts of DBU. But I just feel like Terrion and Kool-Aid gonna hold it down this season. And I feel like somebody else gonna Antonio Kite, somebody else like that to get the looks, possibly before he'll get the look. But don't be surprised if this dude jump up next season and be competing.
Yeah, and just kind of piggyback off your point there, depending on what happens with Terrion this year, and we all know Kool-Aid's going to the draft, but if Terrion has a breakout year, I could definitely see him going as well. And I think, Trey Amos being that third corner, he'll definitely take a starting spot next year. But that spot right next to him will be up for grabs, and Des Ricks will definitely be in the mix for that.
That's facts.
But right here at 65, I'm going Richard Young. In my personal opinion, I think our running back room is the best room in total that we have. And it's a room that Nick Saban's really confident in. When he talks about the different moving pieces on this team, I think he said not today's press conference, at the press conference last, that he has no concerns about that room. I think it's one of the deepest running back rooms in the country. And we've seen what happens a couple of years ago in 2021, what happens when you have injuries in that room. I think Trey Sanders went in that season as running back 4, and he was starting in the SEC championship game due to injuries. So you never know when your number is going to be called. And Richard Young his number could be called if we have some more injuries this year. And I think he's a guy that could step up a ton of talent. If he came in the spring, I may be a little bit more confident in him, but he came in the summer. So I got Richard Young kind of lower on my list than I would have liked to have had him.
He's a guy I got a lot higher than you guys had him. Maybe just a few picks higher. This is where I got Jaleel Hurley. Had to give him the 256 bump, guy from, he's from Florence. I'm from Huntsville, so I mean, I really like Jaleel Hurley. Really long cornerback. I think he can be used in a variety of roles in this defense. So just purely based off his versatility that he gives us, I'm going to give him a boost because I think he could bring something if needed in a situation. So that's where I got Jaleel Hurley, and right above him, giving us 3 good years now on special teams. I think he'll be a senior, Ian Jackson.
Okay, and here is where I have I think Alabama's starting center next year, James Brockermeyer. I've got him down here. He's going to be he's just kind of below this year. Next year with Dalcourt and Seth not having any years of eligibility left.
Dalcourt's got one. I mean, Seth's got one.
Seth's got one more. Well, Seth can still go pro, but we never know. But I could see if Seth was to leave, or we always know Dalcourt's going to be leaving. Ferguson's probably going to be that left guard next year, so they're going to. I think Brockermeyer will probably end up being the center, but so he's more of a down the road piece. Been here a little bit. I would be confident in him though if he had to go in and play, but he's down here on this list for me just in terms of depth.
Nick, you're 64.
Okay. 64. This is why I bring in my guy Quay Russo, one of them big time guys that he pushed down, but he one of the names that we kind of hear in conversations as possibly getting a little PT as a freshman. So I got Quay Russo, at 64. I like Quay.
You're 63?
63. That's why I have Olas Olenin. I bring him in because of the offensive line that we brought in last class is very stacked. And I'm an offensive lineman guy, so I kind of rated them a little bit higher just because I feel like if anything happens on this offensive line, these are some of the guys we'll be looking at. So, therefore, his importance is a little bit more to me. But like I said, it's kind of offensive biases too. Offensive lineman bias too.
Sutton.
63, I've got Curtis Perry. Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit already.
Yeah.
And at my 63, I'm going to go Jalen Hale. Really like his upsides. People have been talking about receiver recruiting, before we got Ryan Williams and all that. Jalen Hale's a borderline 5-star. I think he's really got a bright future here at Alabama. We could use him this year. Just 63 is where I got him. At 62, a guy I'm really high on, but just with how, the signal caller position looks at linebacker, I got Sean Murphy. He's getting reps with the ones in the bowl practice, but just a very, very crowded room right there. So that's where I got Sean Murphy.
And here, so I've got a receiver here. And this year, I believe we're going to go with about 7 receivers. We'll play 7 receivers consistently. I think this guy is number 8, right outside of that 7, and it's Shaz Preston, a guy I think will really contribute next season. This season, I think he's just out of the mix. We'll see him on the field, I'm sure, a little bit. We did last year a little bit, but I think he's just right outside of that 7th guy at the receiver position this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my guy at 62, I have Antonio Kite because talking about Desmond Ricks, I kind of hit on a little bit. I think he'll be one of the guys that get one of the looks at the quarterback positions too, if something were to happen bad this year. But Antonio Kite, I like him. He got the potential. I think he's gonna be one of the bright guys in the future. 61, I have Keon Keeley. So what?
Woo!
Pretty high. That's pretty low for Keeley.
It is, but we talked about it. Hey,
yeah.
I just think a lot at that position. We stacked that position, and I see him. He could probably get a couple snaps, but I just don't think. I think they'll try to take a little bit more time with him because I think we have starters and backups that can get the job done. without probably using him as much. But if he fights for it, he easily can shoot up my list now. But this just for now.
Yep. Something.
Yeah, at 61, I've got Isaiah Hastings. Well, we talked about him a little bit earlier too. Thought you had him pretty. Didn't someone have him really low, or was that no? That was Curtis Perry.
Yeah, had him at 82.
Yeah, you had him really low. I think he's going to make a contribution this year. I don't think he'll play in some huge scenarios, but I think he'll definitely get on the field in some moments for us this year at that D-line position.
At my 61, this guy I've been discussed before, but I got Jaden Roberts. I think he could be one of the linemen used, in situations if a guard got hurt. Possibly if a tackle got hurt, he's got some versatility to him. So that's why I got him at 61. And at my 60 spot, I got a guy that I've heard a lot about recently. It's Tim Keenan. I really think he can make a big step up this year. That's why I got Mr. Tim Keenan at.
I think TK is going to make a much bigger impact on the defense this year, but I mean, I could see it either way.
Hey, dude, the guys ahead of him, I just, it's tough.
At 60, I've got Miles Kitselman, another guy like Nick Saban Jr. said earlier, we haven't heard much about. I don't think he's a pass-catching tight end. I do think we'll see him in there on some bigger sets, though, just as a blocker, another perimeter blocker. I think he makes his impact kind of in the red zone when we go I form. When we're just trying to run the ball down the other team's throat, I think they'll put Kitselman in as a blocker on the exterior. So,
okay. What number? This is where I got James Smith,
number 60.
Wow.
Yeah. Huh?
Woo.
Wow.
Hey, here it was.
He one of them names that we heard in the spring, of course, that is pushing hard, and he's down here because I like him. I like him a lot. Me personally, I like him a lot, but I don't really see much out of him. But I just one of them names that I was hearing. And at my 59, I thought I was gonna have him higher is James Burnham.
Wow. Hey, we don't want to be punning. Hey, we don't want to be punning. Hey, I like that prediction. We're not going to be punning much this year.
Hey, see, but how I look at it is, if we do punt, can we get a pent back this year? That's what I do.
Hey, Saban talked about him today in his press conference. He said something along the lines of that his bad punts are better and his good punts are better. So
that's good.
He's just progressed every year he's been here, so that's always good. At 59, I've got Des Ricks. We already talked about him, so I'll just kind of leave it at that.
At my 59, I got Richard Young. I think you guys have talked about it, but you really can't disvalue running back depth. I think this may be the deepest we're ever at. If you think about it, not even just running backs, but like athletes. Like Kendrick Law played running back in high school. Emmanuel Henderson was a running back in high school. So I think Richard Young will have some very important reps. Roydell and Jace have had injuries in the past. So I think we could there's obviously a scenario where we would have to call him Richard. Hey, he was a great recruiter for last year, so he's getting my vote. Shaz Preston at my 58. He's one of my favorite receivers on the team. Loved when I saw him working out with Smitty right before he came to Alabama. That got my seal of approval. Shaz Preston at 58. Think he shows some stuff this year before eventually breaking into the main group next year.
So my 58 might surprise you guys. This is where it starts getting a little tricky for me. But, I talked before you guys, before the show went live, that this quarterback position, I've gone so back and forth on it. Who's going to start? Who's going to be the backup? Who's going to be the third string? I wouldn't necessarily be surprised that you think it's going to be this person. But 58, I have Tyler Buckner.
I was already confident.
I've got Tyler Buckner. I really liked the tape when I watched it. But so far, since I've seen him practice, I saw some of the throws he had on Saturday. He just hasn't translated well. I know it's young and it's a lot to handle. I get that, especially him not having a spring. So what really did we expect from him? I mean, if he just came over and took over the job, that would just show you so much about him. He was a surefire starter. But he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been good. to me, he's just looked pretty average. And I think really it is Milroe and Simpson at this point, kind of a two-head race. So I've got Buckner as the third-string quarterback at Bama, number 58 on my list.
I like that. My number 58 was Jake Pope. I got him here for the time because he came in early, but I seen in the 8A game that's somebody that we can hopefully probably see in the future. But I like Jake Pope. I got him at 50.
You're 57.
I got Miles McVay at 57. I really don't want to drop him lower due to the injury, but I really don't know how severe it is, but it sounds bad. But I just got him there for the importance because if he's been looked at as a close starter, he's guaranteed going to be getting the eyes when he returns healthy.
Yeah. 57 for me is a sad one personally. I mean, I was very high on this guy coming into his transfer this year, but it's Justin Jefferson. A guy that's he's running third team linebackers right now. Sean Murphy's ahead of him. Not to say anything bad about Sean Murphy. I think Sean Murphy's gonna be great. But this was a guy that was built like a safety playing linebacker that came up and hit you hard, that could cover a guy out of the backfield, something that we haven't been really great at. Covering the flat. I thought he'd actually be – I think I had him as a starter preseason. So definitely surprised that he's running with a third team. But since he is, I think I have to put him this low, especially with that loaded inside linebacker room. So I have Justin Jefferson at 57.
At my 57, I'm going Montel Goodwin. I think really this is his year to break through, getting some reps. Really like him. Physical guy out of Texas, so real high on him. And at 56, I'm going to go Jeremiah Alexander. Big year for him, with some younger guys chasing him. I think he brings something interesting as far as, being a run stopper, that being one of his unique, dominant traits. So I really think that Jeremiah, big year for him right here. That's why he's at my 56.
And at 56, I've got a defensive lineman, Anquan Barnes. I think I've heard a lot of really good things about how he can really get after the passer. Wouldn't be surprised to see him in on a lot of third down sets if we can get the other team in a huddle. So and have time to sub our players out. I've heard he's got a great first step and he can really get after the quarterback. So I think he'll be invaluable on third downs, and that's what he'll see most of his playing time this year on third down.
Okay. So at my 56, I have Keanu Colt, and you can put my 55 as Ian Jackson. And I have these guys based off the time they have spent at Alabama. So therefore, the importance of the team, I'm expecting them to be either step up or be able to help lead some of the young guys to basically knowing the system and learning what they got to do and stuff like that. So basically, that's why I got these guys at 56, Keanu Colt at 56, and Ian Jackson at 55. Based off of the time they've been at Alabama.
Yeah.
And at 55 for me, I've got Antonio Kite, likely the cornerback number 4 behind Kool-Aid, Terrian, and Trey Amos. Hopefully, he won't have to see some crazy playing time this year in big moments, just because we don't want our main guys to get hurt. But definitely a guy I think that could be capable. He's more of a veteran guy, been here for a little bit. So a guy that I think is capable, and a guy that will be battling just like with Des Ricks next year for that second spot at corner in all likelihood if Arnold goes pro.
Yeah, here's I think I'm the highest on him here, but here's where I got Miles Kitselman. He's a veteran guy. I think he can bring something to the room if we need it. I think run blocking can't be oversimplified, and I just think the way Reese uses tight ends, puts tight ends up higher naturally on my list. And Mal One Vision mentioned earlier in the show. I think I'm the first one to mention him. Here's where I got Kendrick Blackshaw.
Okay.
One of my favorite players, special team players ever. Despite his, effort on there, his size. I just think, I'd love if he ever cracked the rotation. There's so many guys in that middle linebacker room.
Facts.
Yeah. And here's an edge linebacker. I've got Keon Keeley, the freshman, ultra talented freshman. I just think I don't think I think this is more of a year where we're going to run 4 edge linebackers. I definitely think he'll get some playing time, but I don't think he cracks that top 4. And then I think we'll have kind of a 5th rotational guy. In my opinion, that's Jeremiah Alexander, just like you said earlier, to stop the run. So I think Keeley is that 6th guy probably in that room. He'll definitely get some time out on the field this year and just to give him some experience heading into 2024. But I don't think he really plays in any huge moments just because of that room, like you said, so loaded.
Okay. At 54, this is where I bring in James Brockermeyer. For one, offensive line thing. I'm not even got that trip offensive line thing. And for real, the realness of it is the time that he has been here. And I think, of course, he'll probably next up. If I don't know if you got David Dacourt, but offensive line in the time he's been here, I think he's going to be important to that room in particular. That's why I have him at the point that he at now. But my 53rd is Shaz Preston, because the Devontae Smith video, what he did when he was working out as a young guy, I like that. And he was highly recruited, and he could be one of the young sophomore groups out of the receiver room to pop.
Here at 53 for me, I've got an inside linebacker, Sean Murphy, a guy that I enjoy watching during practice just because he really gets after it. I think he's going to have a great career at Alabama. Probably going to challenge for a starting spot next year. So really looking forward to what he brings. Ever since that first bowl practice when he enrolled early, I was very excited watching him. But another just deep room, could make an impact on special teams.
Super
nice. Tom, the Georgia fan, was giving us a little pat on the back there. Thank you, Tom.
Here's where I got Des Rex at 53. Really high on him. Reclassification from 24 class. Really think he could bring something. I think he could bust into a really important sub for this team. Barring circumstances, but yeah, I really like Des Rex. I just think he's that talented, and that's why he's that high for me. At 52, one of my favorite defensive linemen, I got Damon Payne.
Yes, sir.
At 52, I've got Kendrick Blackshire. Obviously, his importance on special teams is huge to this team, and I think that's where he makes his impact this season. Hopefully, he'll stick around after this year because I really like the guy, and just a very good guy. Been around him a couple times. Funny guy. Sure, he brings a lot to that locker room. So I'd love to see him stick around, but a very important special teams player. So 52 for Kendrick.
All right, my 51 is
52.
52 is Kobe Prentice.
Whoa,
wow, that's pretty low.
Whoa, a starter. Starter last year. He's going to have an oar with that number 1 spot. Wow.
I mean, I feel like Kobe Prentice is one. Of course, he's one of the names that we're hearing. But I think if Ja'Cory Brooks, Jermaine Burton, Malik Benson pop off, I feel like we're going to spread this thing out to them tight ends as well.
That means you've got Emmanuel Henderson above Kobe Prentice. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I like the take. I like it.
You got Robbie Oots ahead of Kobe Prentice too. That's the H-back, the old fullback, getting some love there. I see.
51.
Sean Murphy.
Yeah, I think we all got him in this kind of same range right there.
Yeah.
51 for me. I'm going Monkel Goodwine. I think he has a really good year this year and rotates in and out on that big defensive line. Looking forward to watching him play.
At my 51, I got Antonio Kite. We talked about him. 4th DB, Alabama guy. He got some experience last year, but he's a safety convert, and I just think Amos being ahead of him is going to kind of limit possibly his reps this year. And right above him, I think I may be the highest on him. It's Keanu Coat. He's working with the twos. I think we could rotate a lot at outside linebacker just with how much energy is exerted at the position, and that's why I got him at number 50.
And 50 to me is a real wild card. I've got Emmanuel Henderson. I think he is that seventh receiver in the room. I've seen a ton from this kid, and I mean the versatility. What he can play outside, he can play inside, super fast. I think he could possibly be a kick returner this year. Maybe even heard a lot of good things from him on special teams in the returning business. So I really like what I've seen from him, and that touchdown catch that he had with that Milroe threw to him in the 8A game was a great route, great catch. So I hope he makes a big contribution to the offense this year as well as on special teams.
Okay.
Nick, you're 50.
Copy and paste everything he just said about Emmanuel Henderson because that was my guy, Nick.
All right. 49.
And Jeremiah Alexander. Jeremiah Alexander is my next guy on the list. I just feel like, man, he got what it takes, and it kind of do with the experience that he's going to have coming into this season as well. Young guy, still young guy, but I still think he has the power and the motor to keep trending upward.
And I'm going to go another edge player here. I'm going to go Keanu Coate. I think he's probably the fourth, fifth guy in the room. Him and Jeremiah, you can really interchange him. Keanu's more of a pass rusher. Jeremiah's more of the run stopper. So I think you could really interchange those guys really well. And he's definitely in that 2 deep. So I think he'll definitely get some really good playing time this year.
All right, at my 49, I mean, I got Tyler Buckner. I just think, circumstances, he's brought in here for a reason. If it's a competition piece, he could be valuable, and he may get some playing time. But he is my third highest quarterback on the thing. Obviously, everyone knows who the top two is. My 48, someone you guys have mentioned, probably gonna be our kick returner this year from what I've seen, Emmanuel Henderson.
Yeah. At 48 for me, I've got Robbie Oots. I see him more just like I was mentioning earlier, an H-back role, especially with that deep tight end room we have this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him blocking on the perimeter every now and again and maybe even flex out and catch a couple of passes like he did last year. But I see him more in that H-back role. And shoot, you never know. There's some teams in the NFL, like the 49ers, that really use that fullback H-back role. And I definitely could see Robbie Oots possibly getting himself some money in the future by focusing and playing that position. So, I mean, we've had some – think about it over the years. Dawson Fowler, Upchurch. Yep. We've had some guys that have made it to the NFL in that position. So, I don't think Robbie Oots could – I think Robbie Oots could do the same.
And, I'm up down on that. Just look at the San Francisco 49ers fullback.
Is he your 48?
Yeah, I feel like he can have that type of effect as well. So, yes, I agree with all that.
He's not quite as versatile as Kyle Juszczyk, which is the 49ers fullback, obviously. But he showed last year he can catch a ball. And when he catches the ball,
and that's what I was talking about. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
47?
47. This is where I bring in Tim Keenan. I'm hoping he be one of them big sloppy dudes that come in and help Dream Motors out at some point.
And couldn't agree more.
So what?
I said I couldn't agree more. At 47, I've got Jeremiah Alexander, so I'm kind of right there with you, Nick. Yeah, you had him at 49. I've got him at 47. Going to be a great stopper of the run. Could see him enter games early games and really get after the run on first and second down. I would not be surprised to see him out there early in a game. Not necessarily starting, but when the other team is in need to run the ball, I think he'll be out there.
Right.
At my 47, I got Robbie Oots. Seems like he's falling back on the tight end chart, but I think he really has a unique role, like Sutton said, to be used as an H-back, which could get him some money down the line. At 46, you guys may not be happy with this, but it's your guy's boy, Christian Story. Veteran, could be playing money this year. With that room, with some recent developments, a certain guy who shares a name with the Heisman winner, breaking the lineup, that safety position's got real interesting. So that's where I got Christian Story.
Sadly, I'm going to double down and agree with you. I've got Christian Story at 46 as well. He's my guy, but saw him in a big brace the other day, and the way Saban spoke glowingly of Devontae Smith. And I hate it for Story because I see Jalen Key kind of taking over that money role. But I've got Christian down here at 46 as a reserve safety.
Yeah.
Or 45. 46. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's funny, Christian Story.
Oh my gosh, that's the third time I think.
Yes.
Or second time we got that. And I think you guys have been looking at my list.
Right. No.
Hey, and my next one, what pick is this? 46, right?
45.
45, yeah. Okay, this is why I bring in Tyler Buckner.
All right.
I feel like he's gonna be the third stringer, but it's hard for me to judge him so early. But you judge off what you see. But I look at the circumstances. He's still trying to get comfortable with these guys. He's still dealing with the nerves of probably still learning this Bama playbook with the Tom Reese twist. So it's a lot of things that can factor in his performance right now. But I just feel like Ty Simpson and Jalen Miro are far ahead of this dude.
And at 45, I've got Trey Amos, the transfer from Louisiana Lafayette. Probably he may play a little bit alongside Terry, and they may swap him out a little bit at the beginning of the season. But I do think this is a breakout year for Terry and Arnold. I think he's going to be a great player for us this year, and I think Trey is going to be a great player for us in the future. If an injury ever occurred to Kool-Aid and Terrian, I think he would step in and do a great job. Have tons of confidence in Trey. Everything I've heard about him has been great. Obviously, Saban wouldn't bring in a transfer unless he thought they could compete immediately and possibly contribute. So I definitely would feel very confident with Trey in a big-time scenario. Just having down so far just because we don't really swap out corners a lot. We like to keep those secondary guys in most of the game. So I've got Trey at 45.
I'm at 45. You're really getting into your twos technically, mathematically, on both sides of the ball. Yeah. So, 44 players. That's where I got Justin Jefferson. I really think he has a role on this team in some capacity. I think his skill set's too unique to the linebacker position, and that's where I got him. And at the 44, I'm going to give some love to the special team. Shout out Pat McAfee, but I'm going James Burnett here.
Yeah, I'm going at 44. I'm going to go Trez Marshall. With all the recent developments, it looks like Deontay and Jihad are our two guys up the middle. Trez just missing out on that. I do think he brings a great veteran presence to the inside linebacker room in the team, and would also be very confident with him if someone was to go down in that middle linebacker room.
All right, the guy I got right now is Danny Lewis. I feel like he'll just probably be the last one to be looked at, but I feel like he'll be a big part of these tight end play as well. But CJ Dupree, the guys in front of him, CJ Dupree, but I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that we'll probably see in a red zone pass catch type situation. But my next guy is Trey Amos. Hey, he didn't come over from where he came from for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Tim Keenan at 43. I think he'll play a lot at nose guard this year. Otis can't be in there every play. So I think TK and Damon Payne will really take some of the load off Otis's shoulders. So I think TK is going to be at 43.
Hey, to be fair, Otis is in the best shape I've ever seen him. I saw him down on the field the other day. Unreal shape. I got to talk to him. So, yeah, real cool. At 43 is where I got Keon Keeley, one of my favorite recruits from last year. Seeing him in person and just seeing him yesterday or the other day in New Jersey. He stands out in that room physically. He stands above everyone. I just think he has too many skills to keep off the field. Something unique, really, at the position. That's why I got him at 43. And at 42, I don't know how Nick had him so low, but I got James Smith. I really think he's going to be one of the arguably probably the second best freshman defensive player on the team behind Caleb Downs, and then you got Keeley there. But yeah, James Smith, I'm really expecting a lot of him.
At 42, I've got Jam Miller, a running back who I think will get on the field a lot this year. The guy that's a little banged up right now, but I just see him really as the fourth running back in the room. I do think there'll be a lot of rotation there. I think we'll see him a good bit towards the end, especially if we've got a big lead. I think they will pound the rock with Jam Miller. So I think, and honestly, I would not be surprised to see him have the most rushing touches this year. I think Jace is going to get the most carries, but I would not be surprised to Jam with the second most carries this year, just because I think he's the most pure runner on the team, runner of the football. Got to get better a little bit in pass pro. Got to get better at receiving the ball. And it's not that he just has to get better. I think he's good at both of those things. It's just we have other running backs on the team that I think are more elusive backs that are better in those particular aspects of the game. I do think Jam is the most pure runner of the ball, though. So very excited to see him kind of your joyless murder ball running back there in the backfield, as Alabama fans know and have seen in years past. So
42.
On 42, this is where I bring in Jalen Key, one of the guys. Go look at his highlight. He probably one of the best open field tacklers from where he came from. He can play inbox. He can play back deep if you need to be. College football experience already. College football experience already. So I think Jalen Key can play a big part of it, contributing towards the secondary. Amari Neblack.
41. 41.
Amari Neblack.
Sure. You got Robbie Utes done, right? Yeah, you got. Okay, I was just making sure.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. 41. Ty Simpson.
Oh, okay.
I just think Milroe is the leader. I think with his relationship, having been there an extra year, his experience, his athletic ability, we'll get to him later. But I love everything I see. Well, I'll talk about Milroe later. But I love everything I've seen out of Ty. He's probably the best passer on the team. To me, the one thing that I think that I like Milroe a little bit better is that I feel like Milroe doesn't consistently make risky plays. And yes, with risk, there's always a great chance of reward. But I think Milroe would protect the ball a little bit better throwing wise. I'm not saying he's a better passer than Ty. I'm saying Ty likes to fit it in those tight windows. I think you need that in a quarterback, but I think you also need to know when you need to hold on to that ball, check it down, throw it out of bounds, run away. We know Ty's also an athlete. Not Milroe's definitely one of the best athletes on the team, but Ty is a great athlete. I think I would not be surprised if he ended up being the starting quarterback at Alabama at some point in the season, especially if the passing game was lacking. But just to me right now, it's Milroe's job, especially after last Saturday. That kind of confirmed all that in my eyes. So I've got Ty.
We got scrimmage Saturday.
Yeah, we do. And shoot, like I said earlier in this list can change as the season goes on, as practices go on. But as of right now, I'm going to stick with my guy Jalen Milroe, and I'm going to have Ty Simpson at number 41.
At my 41, hey, big weekend for the guy. They call him Tay now, not Smitty, Devontae Smith. I got him here. I think that was the biggest shock of the weekend.
Absolutely.
People were penciling in, Downs and Malachi's safety with Earl at star. But Devontae got him here. Well, I'm just that was a change I made today, and I guess his experience and his work ethic's paid off. That he's been playing with the ones. And at my 40, that's where I got Danny Lewis. Really had a good day today. Really getting reps with the ones and twos like Neblack and Dupree. I think this Reese offense will amplify his role tremendously in his sophomore year.
At 40, I've got Earl Little the second. Definitely with the Devontae Smith news, I'm sure Earl Little the second wasn't the biggest fan of that news of Malachi going back to star and Devontae Smith going back to the safety spot. But I do think he could, if something goes wrong in that safety spot, I would not be surprised that they push Malachi back. And I think they're very confident in Earl, but I do think it's more of a thing that they want Malachi to play his natural position at star. And unfortunately, that just comes at the cost of Earl. He's a great player, definitely going to make an impact this season. So I just have him at 40.
Okay. At my 40, I have Jamarian Latham. And I think it's time for him to start popping off. I think quality dude, somebody definitely that'll be getting some looks at the position. And on my 39, I have Justin Jefferson, just because the speed, the close in time he has on people, he closes in very fast. I think he can be a person that's used on obvious third down situations for us to help cover if need to be, obvious passing situations to cover if need be. So I have Justin Jefferson at 39.
39, I've got my sixth receiver in the room, Kobe Prentice. I think with Benson and Bond both being your kind of deep threat guys, I definitely could see Kobe. He's going to have an impact on this team. I just see those 5 other guys ahead of him getting on the field a little bit more than him. I do think he'll get on the field a ton. I think those other guys will have more of an impact in the receiving game than him.
Yeah, and my 39 and 38, I'm going 2 experienced guys. One, Nick just mentioned. I got Jamarian Latham. Yeah, he's probably one of the first defensive linemen, that's going to be rotated in. So really like the veteran, role he brings to the room. And at 38, I got Quindarius Robinson, arguably going to be the first defensive lineman. Edge rusher to be subbed in. So I think I've somewhat got over the Tennessee fumble, but it'll always be burning my mind. So okay, you got to redeem yourself.
38, I've got Damon Payne. I think he's going to be the first guy rotated in at nose guard. I think him and TK will probably be rotated a good bit when Jaheim needs a little breather. I think that's a good position to get an interior push on that D-line and O-line. So I think Damon will fit in nicely at 38.
At 38, I have Kendrick Blackshaw.
Woo!
As far as the time he's been there, I think he's going to play with the now or never mentality. More probably with the now mentality. If he gets his opportunity, I feel like he can make his presence felt.
You're 37?
37 is Elijah Pritchard. Y'all, I just feel like he can be one of those guys. Obviously one of the guys that's getting looked at as a starter. Definitely a backup.
So do you think Caden Proctor takes that left tackle spot, or do you think it's going to be Pritchett?
Caden Proctor.
Okay, so I'm backwards. Right here at 37, I've got Proctor. I think just with everything we've heard from the coaches being confident in Pritchett on that left side, I know he was dealing with a little injury. I think he rolled his ankle Saturday. But I think Proctor could possibly beat him out for the spot. Proctor's going to be a great player. We know that. But I'm going to go just roll with the coaches and really emphasize the praise they had on him in spring practice this year. So I put I'm going to put Pritchett over Proctor, but Proctor here at 37.
At my 37, it's got been mentioned, probably going to be at the money position. That's where I got Joe and Keith, it's final year of college right now. So we got a lot to play for to possibly get drafted and be part of a really good defense. At my 36, I got my favorite running back on the team, Jalen Miller. Like Sutton said, let's go. Probably the best pure runner on the team. I just think he brings such a unique skill set to the rim that that'll put him there.
And for me at 36, I've got another guy that I think will get rotated in a lot on the defense. This time a freshman D lineman, James Smith. I think he's probably one of the first guys off the bench to rotate in for either a Boygby or Tim Smith. Probably the second guy behind Jamarian Latham, but I think James is going to have a great season and be a key guy for us next year, but also this year. I mean, with the way we rotate on the D-line, we rotate a ton. Those big guys need breathers, and I think James Smith is going to be a real key guy for us this year, coming off the edge over there at D-line.
My guy that I actually have is at 36 is Monkel Goodwine. It's
Oh,
time for him
wow.
to do it.
Very high.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was slandering
It's
defensive lineman earlier. Now he's got him high.
but by the time he been there, it's time for him to contribute as a veteran in the room or step up on the playback. But his contribution has to be very felt in either type of way. But I have him and I have Kendrick Law at 35.
Yeah, and go ahead and copy and paste that for me too. I've got Kendrick Law at 35. Yeah, hearing Ja'Cory Brooks talk about how special and unique a talent he is, I think he might be the most reliable receiver on the team this year in terms of if you need a third down, I'm going to throw it to that guy. He's probably got the best hands of any receiver on the team, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to watching Kendrick play. Last year we saw glimpses and potential of what he could be. And I think this year he's going to get a lot of opportunities and really be a key guy when you need to get a first down, when you need to get a catch. I think you're going to be throwing that ball to Kendrick Law or Ja'Cory Brooks one, but I think Kendrick Law has the best hands on the team. So I've got him at 35.
At 35, I got Trey Amos. Probably our first rotational DB as far as just cornerback. Can play cornerback, can play star. Really like the addition. I think arguably the best transfer portal addition asides of CJ Dupree, who's a little higher on my list, obviously, because it hasn't been mentioned. Yeah, but Trey Amos there at 35. And right above him, one of my favorite players on the team. I've said that about 50 times, but favorite tight end, obviously, Amari Nebok. Really like what I've seen out of him. He's been the name Saban's mentioned alongside Dupree, so obviously he's improved a lot. He's up to 240 pounds. That's almost 20 pounds up from last year. So physicality increased from him. Really looking forward to it because I think he's got as much upside as any tight end we've ever had.
And right here, I've got Q Robinson. I think he's going to be the first guy to be rotating off the edge. Another guy, yes, he made an awful play for us on special teams last year against Tennessee, like Josh mentioned earlier, but another guy that I can still see as a gunner on punt. So another guy.
34. Number 34.
Yeah. So another guy I can see making a huge impact on two different sides of the ball. So Quandarius Robinson. Nick, 34, you got it? Did we lose him?
Is he on mute?
Yeah, I think he might be.
So I'll talk a little more about Quandarius Robinson for.
Well, there he is.
My bad, man. I'm in the process of changing locations right now. So which one we on again? I'm sorry, guys.
We're on 34.
All right, this is where I bring in Isaiah Bond.
Whoa.
Ooh. Okay.
Isaiah Bond. He's just one of those guys that we've been talking about for a long time, and out of them normal guys, I feel like one of them was gonna do something. But I like Isaiah Bond, and I got this I bring in Damon Payne.
You said Damon Payne?
Yeah. Can you hear me pretty good?
No,
You're cutting out.
You're cutting in and out, and your mic's a little messed up, I think.
You want to try switching back to your computer?
Right.
No, that's better. That's good. That sounded good.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to try to.
All right, at 33, I've got Malik Benson, a guy I was super high on coming in this year. Doesn't look like he's going to crack the top three of the receiver. I think he's probably number 4, but a guy that can stretch it down the field, guy that's been there, done that in the JUCO ranks, a guy I think we can rely on if we need to. Really a guy that's just kind of a question mark, I think, right now. I really want to see more before I want to put him higher. So I'm going to put him at 33 just because I think he's probably that 4th receiver in the room.
At my 33, I got Ferg Friday, Terrence Ferguson. Saban called him a starter today, which I was like, whoa, that's a bold statement already. Not that he's playing there, but that Saban just called him a starter. So that's where I got Ferg at 33. And then I'm going to be the first to mention this guy. I got Jalen Milroe quarterbacks are close on my list, but that's where I got Jalen Milroe. I think this is like a starter position. So, like, obviously I think he's going to have a really important role on this team. You're going to need 2 quarterbacks, you know. I really think Milroe is going to be the 2 by the end of the year. That's just where I'm at right now. Obviously could change after these few scrimmages, but yeah, I got Milroe at 32.
At 32, I've got the guard center combo of Darian Dalcourt. Like Saban mentioned today, I think Ferguson ends up running away with that left guard spot, helping Dalcourt focus more on that backup center spot. I think that he's a better center than he is probably a guard. And you never know. I mean, with his injury last year, same thing could happen to McLaughlin. And then there you go to Dalcourt as your backup center, who's got plenty of SEC experience games at center. So, I mean, what better situation can you have as an Alabama fan than already having a backup experienced guy like Dalcourt? So yeah, he's rocking at 32. And then if something ever happened to Ferguson or God forbid Tyler Booker, I think he could slide in at either guard spot too.
Nick, you're 32.
All right. My 32, this is where I have Earl Little Jr.
All right.
I feel like somebody, like we know about Earl Little Jr. At 31, I have Jamarian Miller. I feel like basically what you were saying earlier, Sutton.
Yeah. I feel like I had it a lot lower than y'all did. But anyway, 31, I've got Devontae Smith, the safety. I think, obviously we talked about that was probably the biggest surprise of the Saturday practice was him repping with the ones. But Saban had a lot of good things to say about him. And he's got the talent. He's got a ton of speed back there. I think he can definitely make the tackles. We didn't see him in the A-Day game because he was hurt, but very confident in him in his play. And I definitely think he's probably going to end up being a starter this year. So 31, I've got Devontae Smith.
My 31, it's a tough position, but it's where I got Caden Proctor. Really uncertain right now who the guy is going to be. But, this is probably a future Outland winner here if I ever had to predict one. I've never been that confident in one. And at my 30, I'm going Darian Dalcourt, versatility along the line, leadership, experience. Can't undervalue that. So that's where I got Darian Dalcourt at 30.
At 30, I think I have this guy higher than y'all do, probably because of the position he plays, but I have James Burnip. Field position, hopefully we don't have to punt a lot this year, but field position is very important, and flipping that field position definitely is a thing that could be used in the favor of the team that is punting the ball. So, hopefully we won't have to use him, like I said, a ton, but just knowing we have a very reliable guy there who's progressing, as Saban said, always getting better, can kick it 2 different styles as an Aussie punter. He's from the land down under. So, right. I'm excited about him coming back. A guy that you can never undervalue that position.
All right, my number 30. Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, sir.
All right, my number 30 is Robbie Oops.
Wow.
been a while. He been around for a while. And
Has he not said? I thought he said Oots already. Make sure he didn't say it.
Did I?
You said him at 48. Yeah.
God dang it.
Is another tight end?
You said Lewis already. You said Knee Black. The only one you haven't mentioned is Dupree, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he picked Knee Black?
Yeah.
Hey, so I know what I did on one.
I don't see Knee Black on his list.
41.
I know what I did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Have you done? Did you do Devontae Smith?
Hey, I did something. Yeah, I did. Yes, I did him. But I know what I did. I went the quarterback situation. I cheated and I put 2. But I see where I can waste Ty Simpson at right now.
Waste.
Oh man.
Oh, so you had a tie.
There you go.
All right, you're 29.
Yeah, I had because at that position I wanted to book it as a quarterback group as a whole. But the next guy is Quindarius Robinson.
All right.
At 29 for me, I'm going with true freshman running back Justice Haynes. I think a guy you'll see a lot on in early spots this season. A very elusive back, a guy that can catch it out of the backfield and run with it. A very electric guy. I think he's going to take the offense to a new level when he goes in the game. He's going to have not quite the Caleb Downs impact, but definitely an impact where he's going to be felt on the field, and they're going to have a linebacker on him at all times just because of the danger he is in the passing game. But not only that, he's also a great runner. So we were talking about I was talking about earlier about how deep this running back room is and how confident I am in that room. And having Justice Haynes there it means a big deal to this Alabama team. And Saban spoke glowingly of him. So I expect him to have a huge role in the offense this year.
Yeah, my 29, I got Elijah Pritchett. He's very close with, Proctor and all them. So, it's going to be a real battle. It's one of the biggest battles left this fall to work out. Really high on him. Obviously, the staff is. That's why I got him at 29. And at my 28, I'm going Tresman Marshall. I just think he's gonna have an impact in some way. I mean, he's the first transfer we got. He came in very, very quick from when the reports were coming in that he was even being considered. So obviously the staff likes him. He knows the system from Georgia. So that's why I got him at 28.
At 28, I've got this guy a lot higher than I think both of y'all do, but I'm going Jamarian Latham. I think he's the first guy we rotate in on the D-line out on the outside after Tim Smith and Justin Boyke. He's an experienced guy that's been there, a guy that can stop the run and get after the pass. I think he's very underrated. So I'm going him at 28.
28. My 28, I got the big guy, Darian Dalcourt. He got a lot of experience. Whether you step up and be a leader and play, or whether you just be a leader on the team to help this offensive line group come together, I feel like he brings importance. I don't know how much impact, but he has to bring impact with the time he has been at Alabama. But Darian Dalcourt, and right here at 27, I have Devontae Smith.
Oh, wow. Oh, I like it. His original number at Alabama was 27, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, at 27, I've got Danny Lewis. I've got the tight ends a lot higher on my list just because of the usage they've had in the Tommy Rees offense. I think he'll utilize Lewis, Neblack, and Dupree the most of all of them, and liked what I saw on A-Day from him. He showed out. I thought he looked to be the best tight end in the group on A-Day. I think he is kind of the third guy in the room now, but I think he will get a lot of playing time this year, especially with the way Rees uses the offense and tight ends, like I said. So.
Yeah, my 27 and 26, I'm going to duo. It's a running back duo. First, I'm going Roydell Williams. Our best pass blocker at running back. A lot of experience. Just graduated, so props up to him for that. Really like him. I think he's getting quite underrated amongst the room, but above him, I think this guy is one of the best freshman running backs, just right away. With the way Saban talks about him, he's done something crazy, and he had some good runs this past weekend. Justice Haynes.
Yeah, 26, I'm going Jalen Key. I think that money position is so important in college football in today's day and age with the way the spread offense is and the pass. We saw that Tennessee really hit us last year when we had DeMarco Hellams sometimes playing the money spot with guys who weren't the best in coverage. So in those big time games and big time moments, we're going to have to run out in that dime money set. And I think Jalen Key's going to have to show up and play huge and could contribute at the safety position as well. So I've got him pretty high up on my list at 26.
Number 26, my guy, Terrence Ferguson.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
all the positive stuff that we've been hearing about Terrence Ferguson, and what my guy texted me before we got on here talking about Coach Saban said Terrence Ferguson is one of his starters. Hey, I feel like this was a good choice, and I feel like if this is so, he's gonna be a big time contributor. My next guy is Tresman Marshall. Got a lot of experience, got SEC experience, got the Coach Kirby Smart experience. So it's gonna be a similar experience here. I feel like he can blend right in and be a big part of this team.
25, I've got, just like you said, Josh, Roydell Williams, a guy I think is very underrated heading into this season. Probably your third down back, and he's going to get opportunities and have his own drives as well. We'll see that too, but definitely your best pass protector, underrated runner, good off the catch too. Just a guy that can do it all. Obviously, it's probably going to be overshadowed by Jace, and then, Justice is likely to make a lot of electric plays. But man, Roydell, I think, is a very good back. A guy that I think will get on, probably be our second back in the game. He's a leader. He's reliable with the football. Saban likes that about him. He talks glowingly of him. So I've got Roydell at 25. Alabama guy too.
At my 25, I just couldn't drop this guy. Yeah.
I'm just before you move on, I want you to copy and paste what Sutton said. And when I come in with my placement for Roydell, that's what I want to put it in. But go ahead.
All right. Let's see. You want Roydell? Okay. At my 25, I just couldn't drop Earl Whittle. I think he's going to play this year. I think he's going to have a really important role in this team. That's why I got him there. I just think I think he'll be the star of the majority of the year. I think Devontae will have an important role, but I think Malachi will be our safety alongside Downs. So I got Earl there. I don't know how you guys had him at 52 and 39, but Kobe Prentice, he led all freshmen last year on the team in receptions and yards. So I couldn't put him that low. He's really reliable. Had one of the best catch and runs last year against Kansas State. So I got Kobe at 24.
24, I'm going Terrence Ferguson. I think he's going to lock that left guard spot up, be a very reliable guy that can also flex out and play center. So Terrence Ferguson at 24, Ferg Fridays.
Roydell at 24 next?
No, I said what Sutton said. I want to copy. I'm not saying copy and paste it, but when I get over there,
you agree. Yeah.
So
right,
am I
24?
24 if I have Jahai Campbell. Hey, right now, besides Deontay Lawson, the question is who, and this is the prime opportunity for him to get a lot of looks, positive stuff over here from him, and the linebacker room is so strong. But Jahai Campbell, I feel like he'll be a big time contributor. And number 23, I have Justice Hayes.
Justice Hayes, I like it.
23, I've got Amari Niblack. Heard a lot of good things about him. Think he's going to make a huge impact this year, especially in the passing game. I think he's going to take more of a freshman Jalil Billingsley role without the drama, hopefully. So looking forward to seeing him play, especially in a Tommy Rees offense.
Hey, like Nick just said, Jahai Campbell. I think I just something about him this offseason. I love this inside linebacker room, especially the two guys I think are headlining in Campbell and Lawson. Campbell just looks the part as a physical guy. And with Kevin Steele, I just think he is like one of the exemplary guys we're going to be talking about for years to come, especially with several more years under his belt, just being a sophomore. And right above him, I got Tim Smith, starter along the defensive line. Not the flashiest guy, but he's been playing, so the team obviously likes what he's done and has a big impact.
Here I've got at 22. I've got my starting left tackle Elijah Pritchett. I think he edges out the job with Proctor. Coaches talk well about him. Columbus guy,
Columbus bias.
Yeah, Columbus bias.
Yeah,
They gave him a little the 706 bump. But yeah, I think he's going to have a good season. What you saw in 8A, I don't think is what you're going to get in the season. Remember, our offense in practice is going up against one of the best defenses in college football. So what you hear about everyone on offense, if they maybe had a bad day, just think about what they're going to do against an actual defense that we play in the regular season. Because thankfully, we don't have to go up against our own defense, who's probably a top 5 defense in college football. So I think a lot of that's overblown just about if our offense plays rough in particular. So, but yeah, I think Elijah Pritchett is going to have a great year. Trust everything the coaches say about him. I'm really excited to watch him play at left tackle.
And I want to double down for what you just said too. And that's how I feel about the whole quarterback situation. I'm like, when we hear these stuff, good stuff, negative stuff, do y'all not give it a thought that might be the testimony of our defense right now?
Yeah, and I think it could be the reason why. I mean, we haven't played great defense. We haven't played the Bama standard of defense that we have. But we talked on this show plenty of times about how Kevin Steele is going to reimage and reinstall that standard, and I think that standard will be met this year. And I think it already has. I think we've already seen signs of that in spring practice and now in fall camp. Really look out for that this year, that defense. And you'll see in my list upcoming the next 20 guys I've got. It's defense heavy because I think that's just how it's gonna shape up for us this year.
I like it. So my 22nd pick is Caden Proctor. This is what I have, Caden Proctor.
I think you and me actually had our tackles in the same spot.
Yeah.
We just had them changed up. So yeah.
Yep. Caden Proctor, I just feel like he one of the young guys that been here since the spring, so I feel like he's catching along really good. I want to believe for real that Elijah Pritchard is going to win the job. Like you said, 706 buys, whatever, So, but right now I have Caden Proctor. Caden Proctor. When you're young like that, you just got so much further to go, but you this far ahead along. And number 20, my 21st pick, I have Will Rocker.
What?
Wow. Okay.
Picker disrespect.
I really wanted him in my top 10. I really wanted him. He's somebody that I switched as well. When I started
top 5.
Hey, don't spoil it.
Well, I'm not saying where he is. I'm just saying he's in my top 5. I just think he's that important. But 21, I'm going Isaiah Bond.
Who?
Isaiah Bond.
All right, I like it.
I think he's going to be the main guy that takes the top off the defense this year. If he can just control those drops, I think he's going to have a huge role on this offense this year. He's going to be our starting H receiver, so slot guy. So,
okay, I guess I'm the first one now to do it, but I'm putting QB1, who we all view is going to be QB1. Not the exact player, but the QB1 position.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm putting Ty Simpson. I think it's too uncertain right now to put him super high. No one's super proven at the position, so that's why I'm putting Ty at 21. And my 20, surprisingly, one of the fan favorites of fans I talked to at Fan Day, Jermaine Burton had one of the longest lines. So despite the slack he gets from fans, kids were lined up to see him. Probably the most popular receiver on the team was Jermaine Burton. So that's where I got him there. I think he'll start the first week, but Saban's got to say we got to see more consistency out of him. Just in day by day, rep by repetitions. And, he's got 20 touchdowns, I think, in his career. So he's a proven guy. Just need a little more out of him because we expect him to be wide receiver 1 this year. Maybe he takes that role, step up this year. So Jermaine Burton is my number 20.
Number 20 for me is CJ Dupree. I think he's going to be our starting tight end this year. Again, we talked about how I value the tight end position. I mean, I've got Danny Lewis, Amari Neeblack, and CJ Dupree in the top 27, all 3 of those tight ends. I think that's just Tommy Rees just bringing that tight end centric offensive mindset over to Tuscaloosa. And I think we've got 3 guys that are guys that can handle that pressure and handle that workload. And Dupree, if you go turn on the film from last year, especially that Ohio State game, he's a very versatile tight end that can do everything. He can block, he can catch. He hurdled a guy in a game. You don't really see that often from tight ends. And he's been described by Nick Saban as a dog. If you get called a dog by the GOAT, you have to be probably more than a dog, whatever that is. You got to be a wolf. So, so I actually think Jerry West said that one time. He was a wolf. He ate dogs. So CJ Dupree.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's CJ Dupree top 20.
That's cool. It's cool. My top 20 first to break the list is Caleb Downs. Young guy.
Oh,
woo! Hey, he's tempering the expectations. I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Because we are giving the Mika Fitzpatrick expectations, but I'm giving him a grace. He's a freshman.
I like it.
So we did put Devontae Smith back there. Probably first year starter, but somebody that has the Bama experience still as well. So put Malachi Moore back at the start, let him play his true position. It gives you kind of more cushion for Caleb Downs, a young guy to learn with all the experience around him.
You're 19?
Tim Smith. Hey, I feel like Tim Smith gonna be the Tim Smith that we all expected, man. I ain't got much to say about Tim Smith. I think it's his time right now.
Same for me. I'm going Tim Smith as well, a guy that's really paid his dues. A guy that I think he's been such a reliable guy at that position. I mean,
yes.
I think he's shown that he can rush the passer. I think he's going to add that physical mentality to his game where he really steps it up and can contribute in the run game as well. Not that he hasn't, definitely think he has, but that Kevin Steele mindset is definitely going to help that front seven out. So I've got Tim Smith at 19.
Here I'm going two guys I think are going to be really important to the passing attack. At 19, I got Isaiah Bond. Hopefully, he can fix his drop problem. I saw a few drops Saturday, and obviously in the spring game there were a few. So, but his upside's tremendously high. Track speed, one of the fastest guys on the team. I think how we use him could be a really big factor for Reese and how well we do this year at this offense. Another, speaking of Tommy Reese, is where I got CJ Dupree at number 18. Probably the most complete tight end on this roster. Size, experience, attributes, he's got everything to his game. It's just he's going to be probably the main guy this year all around. So I got him at my number 18.
18 for me, I've got wide receiver 2, Jermaine Burton. I think he's going to take a step up. He's going to add on to what he did at the end of the season last year. We talked on this show, or I at least have, about how I felt like he was starting to really come into form last year after that Ole Miss game. So I really expect Jermaine to take a step up and add on to what he did at the end of last season. Really be a leader in that receiver room for the younger guys. So I have Jermaine at 18.
My 18, do y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My 18 is Jaheim Otis. I think it's time for Big Boy to take the leadership on the D-line as a sophomore. I think he's very capable. I think he very will continue to trend upward, be the big defensive line nose stopper that we've been wanting. My number 17 is Deontay Lawson. I feel like we all should know the importance of Deontay Lawson of this offense right now. Defense right now.
Yeah, Deontay's,
Those are two guys that I'm very high on.
Yeah.
But for my 17, I'm going to go Jahad Campbell. Loved what I've heard about him. Another very versatile guy that, he played a little bit of edge last year as well as inside, but I think this is a year where he's really going to break out, and I think he's really solidified himself next to Deontay in that inside linebacker role at the will, weak side linebacker. You're going to see him fly around and make some plays. He's just going to be a guy that I was watching the On3 roundtable, and I think Clint Lamb described it great. I think he's just a guy Nick Saban just needs to cut loose and just go hunt heads.
Yeah.
He's a guy that is just going to hit someone hard, hit him right in the mouth, and just won't care. And so I'm super excited to see him fly around on the defense this year. I think a guy that can get downfield well and a guy that can cover well too, and rush the passer extremely well. So, yeah, Jahad Campbell at 17. Can't say enough good things about him.
I got the numbers out. At my number 17 spot, I'm going Kendrick Law. I think Nick Saban may have him higher than I do. But, yeah, I just think, his versatility as a run blocker is really valuable. Good pass catcher. I really like him. And just right above him is another receiver. I tempered him a little just because the hype has been kind of lower than we thought. It's Malik Benson at 16 for me.
Yeah, at 16 for me, I'm going Seth McLaughlin. He's a proven commodity on that O-line, a great center. Every time he's been in there, that O-line's looked better, in my opinion. Just a guy you can really, truly depend on, a gritty guy up the middle, a great leader, it sounds like, for the team as well. So, yeah, I'm going to go Seth at 16. Nick, what you got for 16? Did we lose him?
Keep talking about Seth for us or any of the other guys.
Well, I can just say, if you want to go ahead and go to my 15, we can do that if you want. But because I can talk a lot about this guy at 15. At 15, I've got Jalen Milroe. I think he's going to end up winning this quarterback battle. He's been the most consistent guy. He's been the guy that's been with the ones. He's got the most talent, in my opinion. Maybe not talent passing the ball, but just as an athlete. The dude can make plays. He can extend plays. I think that's very valuable. He looks better, more comfortable in the pocket. He looks more comfortable with just working with the first team offense and all those guys. Made a lot of good throws this past Saturday. Made a lot of good throws in the 8A game. Where I think he really needs to improve most is just getting through his progressions, making the right choice. I think he's done a lot better at that. And then he looked a lot deeper. He looked a lot better on the deeper passes as well. So that short intermediate passing game is crucial. I think playing our defense in practice every day, like we said earlier, is very hard. Then you can't. These receivers aren't getting much separation. But once we get into a game against actual opponents, I think we will get that separation, and I think it'll make it a little bit easier for Jalen over there. So I think we're getting Nick Saban back right here. You back with us, Nick Saban Jr.?
Yeah, man, I'm back. I'm sorry about this, guys.
No, you're good. You're good. So just to fill the time, I went ahead and did my 15. I put Jalen Milroe as
so
my.
We'll need your 16 and 15.
Yeah, we need your 16 and 15.
All right, my 16 and 15, Tyler Buckner. I put him there because of the.
You already said Tyler Buckner.
You mean Booker?
I did.
You mean Tyler Buckner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Booker,
Oh wow,
Booker.
I thought he'd be higher with your offensive line, but okay. 15.
Yeah, and I got number 15. I got Chris Braswell.
Okay.
Was Christian Story we had all the same one?
I think so.
Sure.
Maybe so.
I'll find him wherever he is. But yeah,
you had
at my 15. Who I got? I got Seth. I mean, I think a leader on the offensive line, especially at center, is a key to a national championship team. If you look at the teams like we've had Bradley Bozeman, Ryan Kelly, guys like that at center position is really vital to us winning. I mean, Leatherwood was on the offensive line as a big leader. Oh, Landon Dickerson. So, I think Seth's really stepped up as leader, also with JC on there. But Seth, I think, really taking over that center spot. So I got him at 15, and at 14, I think I'm the first one to say it, but Justin Aboybe, unfortunately, injuries got him last year when he really looked like he's having a breakout season. But most experienced guy on that defensive line, fifth-year guy. Pretty high on Justin Aboybe. Top 14 on this team is a really stacked list. So.
Yeah, 14, I've got Chris Braswell, almost about the same spot. Nick Saban Jr. had him, but I think he's going to have a better year. Kind of without Will Anderson here, he's going to be pushed more into the spotlight alongside Dallas, guy that can really get after the passer. Saban talks a lot great things to say about him, a guy that's really earned, been here a while, got some experience, really earned his spot. Excited to see what he does as a full-year starter now. Can really make some stock for himself into the NFL draft and kind of push his way there. So have him at 14.
All right. My 14, this is where I bring in Malik Benson to feel like he's going to be the explosive, big-time playmaker that we want to see back in the Bama offense. I feel like he has that capability. My number 13 is – say it again?
You said Malik Benson?
Yeah.
Yes. And my number 13 is C.J. Dupree. Tom Reese, tight ends. Ken Wisenhunt, tight ends. Joe Cox, a young tight end coach with a great young mind. I think it's going to be a lot of play for these tight ends. And I think C.J. Dupree is here for the athleticism and all the things that a great tight end has in the toolbox. So C.J. Dupree.
Yeah, 13 for me is a guy that I think is very important, has to step up. I think this is the year he's going to do it. Ja'Cory Brooks. It's his time. It's his time to be receiver one. He's a guy that everyone looks to in that group, I think. He flashed in that Auburn game and as a freshman. And I thought last year he'd do a lot better, and he did. But I think this year he's just going to have to take it to another level for this receiver room to take off. And this receiver room is really going to have to help out that whoever's playing quarterback. I mean, we all know the uncertainty at that position. So this receiver room it's got all the talent in the world. They can really take a lot of the pressure off that quarterback. And I think Ja'Cory is the number one guy to do it and lead this group this year in receptions and yards.
At my 13, I got Chris Braswell. You guys have mentioned him, but this is really the year with younger guys pushing up. His fourth year, um, he's a starter really. If we use a nickel package, so yeah, Chris Braswell's there at my 13. And number 12, I bumped this guy up. I feel like this guy is kind of underrated somehow. I feel like all running backs are, but I think he's really going to step up. Really, really well-rounded back, Jason McClellan. Probably one of the most important players on this offense. With how knowing our quarterbacks don't have experience, we're really going to rely on the run game, and he's a poster boy for that. So I got Jason in my number 12.
Yeah, number 12 for me, I've got Justin Eboigbe, guy you talked about a little bit earlier, Josh. Guy who's been banged up a lot over his career, but I think this year he's going to get it all straightened out, show how good he truly is. Great pass rusher. A lot of people forget that about him. A lot of people forget how deep we are and how talented we are at that defensive line group. Just from talking to other people who are fans of other teams around the SEC. So I think Justin's going to headline that outside part of the group and really show everyone who he truly is as a fifth-year guy, an experienced guy. And I think he's going to end up being probably a second or third round pick in the NFL draft this year and show he's that good.
That's cool. Nick, yeah, that's nice. I really hope that for him. But my 12 is Roydell Williams. And everything Sutton said about him, I got to just plug it right there, man. Number 11 for me is Jermaine Burton. Hey, last college football year, you're kind of disappointing.
Possible.
So what?
You may have one more, I think, with COVID.
Oh, yeah, but if he takes that step up,
I think for him, he's ready to go.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
At 11, I've got a guy that I think is going to have a breakout year. If I had to say this one guy, there would be one guy on Alabama that's going to have a breakout year. To me, it's this guy, Terrion Arnold. Across the field from probably the best defensive back in college football and Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think this guy he's primed for a great year. He's got a lot of haters out there. A lot of some of our own Bama fans are not huge fans of Terrion Arnold, but I think he's got. I mean, Saban's talked about how, and so has Travarius Robinson talked about. He's got the most raw talent at that position in the room, including Kool-Aid. So I think this year's the year he puts it all together. He had a full offseason kind of as the starter. I mean, I know they brought Amos in, but I think the plan all along has been for Arnold to take hold of the reins of that spot. And so I think he's instrumental in the way the secondary works this year. And like we said, we've seen flashes. But this year's the year I think he puts it all together. Going to be tested early with Texas. He's probably going to have to guard Xavier Worthy or A.D. Mitchell, one of those two burners. So he's going to have to keep up with them. But I think he can do it. I mean, he showed last year in the Texas game. Once he came in and started guarding Xavier Worthy, Worthy kind of went cold. So hopefully Arnold continues that this year, like he played in that Texas game. Kind of got a spot taken last year with Ricks coming up. I think that was kind of inevitable with just his talent. But Terrion's going to have a great year. I think his breakout season.
Yeah, my 11, real veteran guy, arguably most experienced guy on the defense. Been here one of the longest. Malachi Moore. Branch took his job in his sophomore year after injuries, so it's really Malachi's time to step up, and I really think he's going to be able to do it. But yeah, whether he plays star or safety, that's just another role, and his leadership and experience is extremely valuable too. Someone Sutton just mentioned is my first member of the top 10, Terrion Arnold. I think I'm as high on Terrion as most people. I'm predicting he could be a second-round draft pick. I just think, being a safety coming up and then winning a cornerback job in year 2 is something crazy to me. After not playing it much, I just think his development's going to take off to a new level. And he's going to be across the best cornerback, anyone for the best cornerback in college football in Kool-Aid McKinstry. So that's why I got him at my number 10.
Yeah, he's super athletic too. And for number 10, I think you and me just flip-flopped it. I've got Malachi Moore at number 10. Just a very versatile guy in the backfield. Been there, done that. The leader probably of the secondary. I love that they're wanting to play him at his prime position at star. Would also love to see him at safety, just so we could get Earl Little on the field because I think he's uber talented as well. But I think Malachi is a staple of this defense. He's going to be the main cog in that secondary. So very excited to see him in a year where he's really can't be overshadowed by Branch. He was a great player for Alabama. But Malachi, I just want to see him back or even better than that freshman year, because his freshman year he was amazing. And I think he could be better than that. I think he was on the all SEC freshman team as well. So, really looking forward to seeing him healthy and in a main starter role this year.
Number 10, this is where I go, Jalen Milroe. This is where I had Ty or Milroe originally. I had Ty Milroe, but I'm going to go with Jalen Milroe right here. I just think it's his to lose. And through all this talent, at some point in the top 10, the quarterback does have to play a play. And I'm going Milroe, but I still want Milroe. And my number 9 is where I have Terry. And basically, I agree with it. And I feel like if he ball out this year and come back for possibly come back for a next season, which he could, I think he can push for a first-round draft pick.
I do too.
Yeah, I agree.
At number 9 for me, I've got Alabama's offensive MVP for the season. I think this guy is going to be stellar performers, Jace McClellan. I think the offense might run through him this year. We're trying to get back to our roots of running the football like we used to do back in the good old days. Joyless murder ball, I think it starts right here with him. I think he's going to set the tone. He's a do-it-all back. Pass protection, go out and catch the ball, and then break off long runs like we saw in the Texas game last year. He's very physical back as well. I think that gets lost. Last year was his first year coming back off that ACL. Now he's fully healthy. I think he's primed and ready to have a breakout season. I think he's a Heisman contender, a dark horse Heisman contender even, if he has a breakout year. Now, I don't think he would necessarily be a Heisman contender just because I think the carries will be split a lot in this room. But if we were to go down with some injuries, or if he just shined and was way better than the other guys we had, I would not be surprised if he was in that Heisman conversation, especially at the clip we're going to run the ball this year. So, Jace at number 9.
Yeah, my number 9, leader of the defense. His position literally, represents that. It's Deontay Lawson, filling in for Henry To'oTo'o. Lawson got some really important reps last year. Great game against Kansas State. I think he had 1.5 tackles for loss. But yeah, I think he's really going to take that next step. Hopefully brings the alpha dog mentality back to linebacker, one we haven't had in a while, since maybe 2018 version of Dylan Moses. So yeah, at 9 there, and at number 8, I'm going to Corey Brooks. I just don't think his impact can be understated. I just think he's the leader in the receiver room, and that's what we need. We need more production of our receivers. If anyone's going to do it, I think it's going to be Ja'Cory, just because of his reliability, his ability to get open. Drops have been a problem, but I think he'll iron those out. I got Ja'Cory Brooks to number 8. Sutton.
Yeah. Number 8, I'm going to go with everything you said about Deontay Lawson. I think he's the main guy on that defense. He's the signal caller. Guys are going to be looking to him to get lined up. I think his importance can't be understated. He's a big guy, a guy Saban loves at that middle linebacker spot. I mean, the fact that he's had that spot really on lockdown since the end of 2022 season tells you a lot, especially with all the transfers we had. And then he was injured even during the spring game. So, he's uber talented. A guy that I definitely see could be a first or second round draft pick this upcoming year. One of the best linebackers in the country. So Deontay Lawson at 8.
My number 8 is where I bring in my guy, Justin Eboigbe. Hey, this is the year.
I like it.
Dude got all the potential. We already know what he is, but Justin Eboigbe. And my number 7 is why I bring in the veteran presence, Malachi Moore, somebody that dealt injuries. If we can get him back to his freshman year, hey, a lot of experience. I feel like Malachi Moore played a big role at number 7.
Yeah, number 7, I'm going to go one of the best offensive guards in the country, Tyler Booker. I think he's showed last year as a freshman he's going to have a huge impact on this offensive line. I think this offensive line is Joe Moore worthy. I know they've got to compete against Michigan. Michigan's got a great O-line. They've won it 2 years in a row now. But I think if they're going to win it, you're going to get great performances from Tyler Booker at right guard, a guy that can also shift over to left guard if necessary, and even could play tackle. I mean, he came in as kind of a combo guy. So, I think he's a key part of this offensive line. And him and J.C. Latham on that right side, their impact can't be understated. That's the best right side of an O-line in college football. So Tyler Booker.
One of the best we've ever had, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
At my number 7, I don't even think I have the highest. I think Sutton's going to crown this guy the highest. I'm going Caleb Downs. I just probably, since me, Caleb, one of the most talented freshmen I've ever seen. He looks the part too. I remember seeing him as a recruit last year. I thought he was small because he was standing next to some taller guys. Dude, on the field, he is one of the strongest looking safeties I've seen for a guy that size.
Yeah.
So, sure. And just, his IQ and the way Simmons talked about him, we knew he was going to be good, but early on, but he may be better than we expected. He arguably could be number 1 by the end of the year. But I'm going to tamper expectations. I think Nick was good to put him down at 20, but just to tamper. But yeah, but I got Caleb at 7 at my number 6. Big boy Jaheim. I saw him and talked to him the other day for Alabama for my internship. He was exhausted, but dude, he's in incredible shape. I'd be surprised if he's over 320 pounds now. Like really, really good shape. Not any bad fat on him. Maybe his arms, but none really around his body. So really impressed with him. Arguably one of the craziest stories from the Saban era, just his weight loss. Shout out to Amy Bragg. Being a 430-pound guy that came in. He's lost over 100-some pounds now. So, yeah, Jaheim Oatis, number 6 for me.
Yeah, I hate to do it. I'm not going to tamper any expectations on this guy. It's Caleb Downs at number 6. I think, and this is crazy that I would say this, I think right now he might be the best player on this team. Right now, as a true freshman, he might be the best player on this team. That's crazy to say.
That is so.
I would not be surprised if he ends up being number 1, like Josh was saying towards the end of the year. This guy is going to fly around and make some plays. And you saw that in the 8A game. You got a glimpse of it in the 8A game. Just wait till the season starts. I can't wait to see this guy crack someone else on the other side when they come across for a slant or in cover. He's a great guy in coverage too. He's going to be a vocal guy. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I think he's going to be better than Minkah Fitzpatrick. So I hate to just give him some expectations now, but Bama fans, put your seatbelt on when number 2 goes out on the field because Caleb Downs is it. He's arrived.
I like it. So at my 6, I got this is why I bring in Jason McClellan. Hey, this dude got everything it takes, man. Jason McClellan, and my number 5 is Seth McLaughlin. The dude,
wow.
We all know about Seth McLaughlin. I ain't finna go on a long spiel about it.
Yeah, number 5 for me is Will Reichard. I mean, I think the kicking game is so important. And as a Bama fan, I'll never underestimate that position because of how bad we have been in the past. To me, Will Reichard is one of the most important pieces on this team. I have the utmost confidence in Connor Talty. I mean, he's a highly recruited kicker, but he hasn't been able to prove himself. Obviously, he's a freshman, but Reichard, one of the best kickers in the country. I think a team will probably put a draft pick on him next year. I mean, you don't see that often in the NFL, but see Josh put it down there, so I have to be thinking something right.
Yeah, I got Reichard at 5. He's going to break the points record. He's 105 away, I think, and presuming a healthy season, about 20 made field goals and all the extra points he's going to get from the touchdowns he'll score. He should break it, which is, if you told me that, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, right when he got here, I wouldn't have believed you. So that's why I got Reichard at 5th. He's an all-timer. He's the best kicker to ever play for Alabama. Absolutely. So he deserves his spot, number 5. Yep. And number 4, probably the best mentality of the team I've seen. Got to talk to him a few weeks ago, Tyler Booker. Unreal kid. I think he understands the Bama standard. While some guys, came here for the opportunity, I think he came there knowing what it took as a freshman, becoming one of the first guys, really rotate it at guard, push Cohen out. And now he's starting alongside Latham, and the IMG connection is going to be unreal, in my opinion. best right side of the line, as I said earlier. Me and Sutton, I think, agree on that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's one guy at 4.
Number 4, I've got Jaheim Otis. I think his importance to the front seven is unreal. I mean, he's your run stopper on first, second down. Can also get after the quarterback on third down. He's going to be probably double teamed on every play he's going to have, maybe even triple teamed, just because of his presence and how big of a guy he is. Like Josh said, one of the best stories in the Saban era in terms of body transformation. If you need an example of how well the nutrition staff, the strength and conditioning staff is at Alabama, look nowhere else than Jaheim Otis. I mean, he had the potential when he was a 400-pound guy, now losing, like Josh said, over 100 pounds. I mean, this guy, he's clean cut. He's ready to go. He's got a great mentality. I think, in my opinion, he's going to be one of the better nose guards in the Saban era, especially towards the back end of this Saban era. And he's only a sophomore, so we get another year of him after this year. So, Jaheim Otis is very important to this defense. I think the third most important player on this defense, and second in the front seven.
Hey, Nick, I want to go back to I want to go back to do y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Hey, I want to go back to Will Riker. I originally had Will Riker at number 10.
13.
So my number 4 is say it again.
Who's your number 4? Sutton, you want to go your 3?
Number 4 is Ja'Corey Brooks.
Ja'Corey Brooks. All right.
Okay. What's the number 3?
He the leader that we're gonna need it. Leader, veteran, and the wide receiver position. And my number 3 is Dallas Turner.
Yeah, I think we all knew who people's top 3 is going to be. What 3 players at least going to be in it. It's just the order, really.
Yeah. I think we all probably have number 1. I think 2 and 3 might be the difference. But
so you have Dallas Turner, right?
Yes, he does.
Sutton, who you got?
I've got J.C. Latham at 3.
Okay.
I think he's going to be one of the best right tackles in the Saban era. Like we were talking about, that right side of that O-line is going to be insane with the IMG connection over there with Booker and Latham. I really thought he'd move over to left tackle, but with the way the coaching staff has spoke about Pritchett and Proctor, even they're pretty confident that left side. Why change JC's natural spot at right tackle? So really looking forward to what he does this year. I think we'll see a lot of inside zone runs to that right side and stretch runs to that right side with Latham and Booker over there. I can already see it now. Tyler Booker pulling out besides Booker. We're going to get a head start, just bulldoze whoever's in front of him, and Jace McClellan hitting that hole right and just going straight like he did for an 85-yard touchdown last year against Texas. I can see it now. So J.C. Latham coming in at number 3.
All right. I got the guy with probably the biggest shoes to fill. It's Dallas Turner, filling in the shoes for arguably the best defender of the Saban era, the second best outside linebacker in program history after Derek Thomas and Will Anderson. So, Turner's got big shoes to fill, but he had an incredible freshman season. I think he's going to have a revival this year. I think the way we play defense will use him better. I don't think we'll be having him dropping back as much. And even if he does, he'll show his versatility. But I think he'll get more pressures this year, be more after the quarterback, more aggressive, and really solidifies him as possibly a top 15 pick in this year's draft. And this whole top 3 is first-round draft picks. And I'm just going to do my 2 and 1 because you would know who my number 1 is. But number 2 is J.C. Latham. I think arguably first or second best lineman in the country behind Joe Alt. IMG guy, really embraced the role as a starter last year. Physical, big. He's one of those 6'7", 350-pound guys that we have, like Neal, like Proctor coming in. It's just the mold of these tackles is unreal. And my number one is Kool-Aid. I think he's already one of the best cornerbacks of the Saban era. His versatility is unreal, being a punt returner. But he's also a lockdown corner, the best defensive back in the country. No one throws at him. His tackles may not be great. His interceptions may not be great because no one throws at him because he's that shut down.
Facts.
He's on an island, and it's a lockdown island. So,
Yeah.
Kool-Aid McKinstry's number one, the best player on. He will be the best player on this year's team is my prediction. I think that's most people's predictions too. I think we'll learn from both Sutton and Nick here. So, Sutton.
Yeah, I've got Dallas at 2, Kool-Aid at 1. Just talk about Dallas for a second. I think he's gonna fill in those shoes of Will Anderson very well. Very good pass rusher. We saw that his freshman year. Last year I think he cooled down just a little bit, but I think with that bigger role this year, he's gonna really take the form. And as another thing to mention with these three guys, they are the three leaders of the team, the three captains of the team. So and like Nick Saban said in previous times, when you have a player-led team and a team that wins the national championship, your best players are your leaders, your captains. And look at right here at this list right here. All three of us are going to have Dallas Turner, J.C. Latham, and Kool-Aid McKinstry in some shape, form, or fashion in our top 3. And that's exactly what you want from a championship team. So, guys, you heard it here first. Bama's winning the national championship 2023.
Roll Tide.
Also with everything with the first-year quarterback, I think we've won the national championship, 6 times? I think every time with a first-year quarterback, right? Except once or 5 times. A.J. McCarron that one time when he won it.
He's won too. Yeah.
So I think the pieces are falling in place, guys. I mean, the talent on this team is unreal. Everybody, when you count Nick Saban out, that is when he comes back with vengeance. And this is the year it's going to happen. Alabama has never gone 3 years without winning a national championship. We've gone 2.
Yep.
It's year 3. It's time to win one. And these 3 guys are going to headline this team. Kool-Aid McKinstry, like you said, is basically on Revis Island. I do think he will get tested in the Texas game, just because you're going to have to throw at him.
Eddie Mitchell,
but not many teams are going to want to throw at him. And then obviously his punt returning skills are undeniable. He's probably one of the best punt returners in the country. I would say one of the best of the Saban era, but when you've got guys like Jalen Waddle, Marquise Mays, I've been watching a lot of Marquise Mays lately, Cyrus Jones.
Yes,
we just have real punt returners. And
Javier Arenas,
yeah. Kool-Aid definitely falls in that category. So, I am very excited. Like I said, very excited for this season in this top 3. I mean, you can't get any better with your best people, your best players, your top 3. That's a player-led team, and that's a championship team, and definitely expect that from this team.
Am I getting JC?
Mine's plain and simple. Yep, J.C. Latham number 2, Kool-Aid number 1, and it ain't even not much more to say about them guys, man.
Yeah, great list, guys. I really enjoyed it. That was awesome. Thank you, Jimmy Stein, for the inspiration.
Yeah, I had fun with that. That was,
and I'm gonna tell you,
it took 2 hours, but I mean, it's a good team.
Yeah, and I feel like we was all somewhat in the same range for around most of these guys.
Except Kobe Prentice, I don't get it. 52 for Kobe Prentice is
we
crazy.
On that.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's tough. It's tough, you know. I mean, last year I would have put Burton probably top 10 based off what I was predicting, you know. But just didn't go that way. You know, it's tough to predict. And we'll look back at this at the end of the season and see how it went. And we'll probably be like, why did we do that? And then some of them will be like, oh, that was a good prediction. That was an underrated one. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I feel like we're going to be within a range of what we're assuming as fans, though. But I thought we'll be somewhere in the range. Sutton said he powered off. He powered off.
Yeah, I guess he lost connection.
But yeah, man. But that was cool though. That was cool. Like that was cool. My first time ever doing that. But
yeah,
I wanted to change people so many times and all that. But man, ended up being all right.
Yeah, I had fun. looking forward to getting back on sometime soon. So
Yes, sir, man. You know we're gonna do it again. Whatever y'all got an idea, just let me know and we'll make it happen.
Sir.
We'll make it happen. But been on here for 2 hours, man. About time for me to go ahead and take a shower. Appreciate you something for coming on.
No problem.
And roll tide.
Roll Tide.